Welcome back. It's Thursday, our weekly appointment with this guy, Stephen Carlton, First Vice President from Janney Montgomery Scott.
Thanks, David.
Thank you for joining us. A lot of news to get to today. The main headline in the world of finance, I know you've been looking at your iPhone all day long, is the markets. The market's taking a serious hit over the last 2 days because of some comments from the Fed chairman.
Yeah, this is reverberated through the whole world. I mean, we're seeing this in all the currencies. We're seeing it in commodities, energy. We're seeing it in Asia. We're seeing it in Europe. The only place to hide has been the U.S. dollar today. So this was a very, very strong reaction. The market has really been waiting to see what Ben Bernanke was going to say in the Fed, and they didn't like what they heard. So a lot of nervousness.
All right, let's talk about the news that is shaking the markets. He's saying that some of his stimulus efforts in the market, he wants to ease off that as he sees the economy getting better. And that seems to be rattling folks. I know that something that's rattled the markets before is uncertainty. He's giving them a roadmap for the next several years, saying, okay, as the economy gets better, I'm going to ease my foot off this. I'm going to start to dial back some of the stimulus. Shouldn't everything be all right? Because he's giving them the roadmap. They know how to proceed.
There's a certainty, and the certainty is that there's going to be more uncertainty.
Okay.
We've become dependent on quantitative easing over the last number of years, and so we really don't know what's going to happen. He's held down interest rates on the Treasury, buying those Treasury debt, buying the mortgage-backed debt, and we've seen the Treasury rate jump up dramatically in the last 2 days. So it's a lot of uncertainty because we're in uncharted territory. The Fed has been very effective at raising the stock market, raising prices in a lot of areas in the economy. He's been really good at lowering unemployment, some of these other things. But the consequence of that particular action is somewhat unknown, and that's where everyone is nervous.
Yeah, as you and I were talking earlier, there's been no prolonged period of history where the markets have been given so much help by government for such a prolonged period of time. We've never been in this situation before.
This is a coordinated effort among all of the central banks in the world. I mean, we've printed money before throughout the world. We've defaulted on government debt. There's been historical things where currencies have fluctuated radically. But this kind of coordinated effort of buying debt, printing money, this kind of action is such an extreme that there's a lot of nervousness around it.
After this bad news on the markets, we've got some good news on the jobs front and the home sales front. This could be short-lived good news, though, if things start to really fall apart on the markets. And, of course, we've been talking about mortgage rates, which we'll get to in a second.
Right.
Let's start with the jobless numbers. Nationally, jobless claims rose more than expected last week. But here in our region, the capital region, the Glens Falls metro area, over the last year, from May of 2012 to 2013, an increase in employment. Glens Falls being more successful than the capital region. But some good news, some mixed news on the jobs front there.
Well, the economy across the United States is a very eclectic, very diverse economy. And so we have certain states that are doing very, very well and others that are not doing as well. And so New York State in general has had some really great success stories, and we're part of that story. Glens Falls, Saratoga, Malta, Albany area. We've benefited from the technology, the tax cuts, some of the actions that Cuomo's done. So there's some good local stories. Nationally, it's not the greatest news, but it's been somewhat better every month now for quite some time. So yeah, there is some still area for improvement, but locally it's been a pretty good story.
Yeah, over May 2012 to 2013 in the capital region, the job creation up 0.6%. Glens Falls region at 2.5%. I think the state average is about 0.8%. And once you do all the numbers in the Glens Falls region, they added 1,100 private sector jobs. So this area, obviously, when you've got really high unemployment, the only place to go is to gain, or the other.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
and this community, 1,100 new jobs in a year for a town this size, that's significant. So it's good news, and it's an indicator that. There's some definite positives here.
And we should say it's all of Warren County and Washington County when we do the Glens Falls metro area, capital region, including Saratoga County.
Up to Saratoga, right.
Yeah, all right. So home sales, the highest level since 2009. This is contradicting everything we've been talking about because we've been talking about these mortgage rates are going to go up. The market is going to just start to slow down a lot. This is the highest sales since November 2009. That was when stimulus tax breaks were juicing this market. This all according, of course, to the National Association of Realtors. I don't just pull this stuff out of my hat. There's some stats to say this, but let's talk about the fact that these numbers are up, and there could be some bad news down the pike here, though.
Well, there's a rush to the door. When everybody realizes that things are about to end, anybody that was thinking about buying a home, we talked about this the last 5-6 weeks, saying interest rates are going to go up on mortgage, get in while you still can, and they've gone up well over 4% now. So that big last rush, I think the numbers over the next few months are not going to be nearly as positive.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on that. I guess the last story is a little ironic. We've been talking about this for a while, casinos.
Yep.
The state finally getting to a place where they've agreed on a casino plan. The legislators should vote on it tomorrow. They'd wanted to wrap everything up by today, but word now is they'll be in there until early next week getting all these bills done.
Right.
You know, down economy, casinos are the place to go because everybody's trying their hat,
Yep.
you know, trying their luck to change their fortunes around. But anyway, New York hopes this will change their fortunes around. Talking about casinos, a plan for 4 Las Vegas-style casinos in 3 areas: the Catskills, Hudson Valley, southern tier near Binghamton. They've indicated, which you think might be the Ithaca area. I think that if you're taking a vacation, it seems like that would be the place to go.
Right.
And then the Albany-Saratoga Springs corridor. We all pretty much know where that's going to go. The place we're showing you video off. It's the Racino in Saratoga Springs who are embarking on an ambitious expansion plan there.
Well, they have a unique position. They've got everything in place. They've got a lot going for them, and it is the logical choice.
Yeah.
And you know, like we've been talking about now for months, this will mean more jobs. It'll be more opportunity in the community. It'll be a greater tourism draw. So a lot of potential positives over the next couple of years.
Yeah, some of the other details in that New York City would be off limits for 7 years, give the upstate casinos a chance to get their feet under them. Of course, none of this happens unless when you go to the polls, the idea is this November, there has been some talk about floating this for another year because it's an off-election year.
Yep.
But when you go to the polls to vote on this, it's a constitutional amendment, so we have to approve it as the citizens of New York. So the legislator can vote as many times as they want. It's up to the voters.
Yeah, this could go either way this year. It might not go to. It might have to go till next year. But you know, if it does go through, this, like I said before, huge positive for the area.
Yeah, the only negative here is if it doesn't go through in the governor's backup plan, which is Racinos, more Racinos in upstate New York, kind of just keeps Saratoga, you know, the way it's been.
Status quo. But even so, they've put the new hotel project underway, and there's been some improvements in that. So. This town, in this community, definitely has an advantage.
Yeah, the Gaming Commission, by the way, today backed the governor's plan for the 4 casinos, trying to push the legislator in the right direction.
Yeah, a lot of energy going towards it.
Roll the dice, see if we're lucky. Stephen Carlson.
Sounds good.
First Vice President Jenny Montgomery Scott. It seems like casinos are the market. Just roll the dice, see what happens.
You know, some days it does feel like that, definitely. Thanks, David. Good to be here.
Appreciate you. As always, this is on our website. It's looktvonline.com. And stay with us. We'll be right back.